encounter, the name of the encounter that you commonly use, so I can just start right there? Do you use the medication encounter or the medical encounter? What is generally opened, whoever the person is who had asked the question? What type of note? Is it just the medication encounter, Mark? Do you know?
Well, it's not always just the medication encounter. The question is based off of any way that someone is going to add a med to a client chart. So once that med is added, the goal would then to be sending it off to our medical director so that she can sign off on it.
Yep. So there's two ways to add meds, and there's two ways that we generally do this. So I'm just going to open either a medication or a medical encounter. So I'm going to add everything. So I'm going to do a standing order. I'm going to add current meds, and I'm going to add just a medication I want the provider to prescribe. So I'm going to show you all three ways from inside of one encounter. Okay? So I'm going to open up a medication encounter, and I'm just going to minimize my screen. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start with a clean one. So I'm going to hit the plus sign because we use good old Mark Z. Patrick a lot. And I'm going to do a clean encounter. Okay? So I'm going to put some notes in. I'm going to add a current medication by clicking the blue pen. I'll add current. Let's say they're just taking Tylenol. And they take it PRN. Okay, so I added a current med. Now what I want to do is I'm going to transfer the current meds and allergies into the note. And now the next thing I need to do is I need to do and open the medication. So on the right-hand side of the screen, there's a little button called Medication Log. All right? But when we do the medication log, there's two things that you need to do. I need to order a med, and I need to do a standing medication. So I like to show it. The easiest way to get this done in the cloud, okay, is you're going to use something called our diagnosis section. It's the easiest place to put it. So the diagnosis section is where you put your standing orders, and you put your ordered medication that links it of who's ordering it and who needs to sign it and where does it go in a document. So I'm just going to start with this, show it to you, and then we'll stop and tell me if this answers everybody's question. So the last tab on every encounter generally is diagnosis. So if I click on diagnosis, I'm going to put in my regimen or my standing order. I'm assuming that's what you meant. I call it standing order. You might call it regimen order. So I'm going to pick the standing order. And here are all your protocols. Hit select all. I want to load everything. And I'm going to say add to list. And then let's transfer this so it goes on to the client's chart. Okay. So once you transfer it, my standing order is done. The other thing you can do in that screen is you can also do your ordering medications. So I'm going to go back in. I'm going to do them individually so you can see. I'm going to go to the meds that I want to attach to the client. And I'm going to say, let's order a med. So now I'm going to do lovastatin or something. 1 time a day for 30 days. And I hit save. Okay. So now what I've done is I've created a process where I've picked the standing order, I've added a current medication, and now I'm ready to transfer all of this. So I'm just going to take this window. It does the drug-to-drug, drug-to-allergies, and drug-to-disease interaction, and because we have so many, I just have to put something in here that I shouldn't be prescribing this with all these other meds, okay? And then generally what I can do is I can attach it to the provider. I'll have to show you this in my system because I can't access your provider files, okay? And you're going to hold this here. So then what the doctor's going to do, when you transfer everything that's in here, okay, this note generally is sent to the provider to sign off on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit the signatures button. I'm going to sign it. And then I'm going to route it, and I'll route it to myself. Say Henry. H-I, where are we? Who's Henry? Am I not in here? I am in here. And I'm going to send all of this to the doctor through the signatures button. So when the doctor gets this, the doctor opens it up, selects the medication log, selects if he wants to approve all of these. Okay, you can select one or all. His name will default, and he can send the script. If the nurse does it, the doctor just approves the encounter that we just sent to him, the document, and then the nurse can come in and complete it. But generally, the place where all your standing orders and your ordering medication sit, okay, will always sit in the diagnosis section of any encounter. So the diagnosis holds all your standing orders and gives you the ability to order. Here's my lovastatin. If I click on here, my standing order is there. And if I'm the doctor and I send it to myself, if I just go home and open up my inbox, I should have a medication waiting for my approval, okay? So that's going to sit in pending signatures right here. So I would open it up, review it, and approve. I'll go through all that for each step, but I just want to show the high level first of how we're routing for approval. Is that what you wanted to see, John? Oh, okay. So the nice thing is when you're in these encounters, it'll always hold the last patient you were in. Sorry, I have too many documents open. At the bottom right is a little stethoscope. This will allow you to jump back into the client's chart. So in order to set the timings for all of those medications, I just jump back into that last encounter. Under the medication log button on the right-hand side, you can set the timing. So the lovastatin, there's a little button here when you select them called Set Timings. Okay? And I'm going to say, let's start this today. He gets it at, let's say, 8 a.m. And he's going to need it for a month, so the first of next month. Or I can just put it as PRN, or I can put it as daily with no specific time on the dispensing board. And I'm just going to hit save. It created the regimen, and this is showing you what it sent to the dispensing board. This is what it sent. So then I also can choose if all the other medications are going to all be dispensed whenever at the same time, or if they need different timings. So I'll take all the standing orders, which generally are PRN. This little standing orders button here, I'll get this to come up in your system, we'll put everything as PRN. We're going to execute it. And now that sent all of these to the dispensing board. So now it sent 7 medications directly to the dispensing board. So now for Mark Z. Patrick, if I close out, come over to my home screen, go to my dispensing board, anything that I put on that client, and I could search for him, okay? So anything that I have for that client has now been moved over to the dispensing board. The lovastatin, the Tykerb, any of these medications that were on the standing order are now in the nurse's dispensing medication list for the day. What else, Mark? I'll go through it one more time in more detail, but do you want me to cover anything else quickly related to that? Okay. I'm going to show you the whole workflow on this. I'm going to pretend just a new client. So I'm going to go into demographics.